Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial, and today I wanted to talk about STEM Inc. based on the recent price movements. I've gotten a lot of questions and we've talked about it a lot in the Discord, the fact that the stock continues to move at an accelerated rate. So you can see coming down from the highs in the August-September timeframe, we've almost been on a straight line down to the recent lows. I'd highlight that these low prices that we see right now, which we did close today at $8.63, are still a solid 30% higher than the June lows or the May lows that we saw earlier this year, where it did close as low as 572, or it hit as low as 572, and again in June at 607. Now, at that point in time, there was some large insider buying from a single individual, as well as you can see that they had a strong earnings, but we also saw that we had the Inflation Reduction Act, which heavily incentivized clean energy stocks, and that brought us all the way up. Now, since that point in time, we are now back below and quite a bit below the Inflation Reduction Act highs that we saw right here. So you can see that that stock opened that day at about $10 a share, and we are now about 15% lower than that price. So what's changed since that point in time? Well, the broader macro environment continues to look bleak, and I think that overall stocks are continuing to come down to more quote unquote normalized valuations. Now, for a lot of stocks, that means, or my personal opinion is that means that they are coming back down to their pre-COVID highs or pre-COVID levels in general. However, pre-COVID was still a continuation of incredibly high or an incredibly long bull market. So the question here is, what about these companies that went public during COVID? So you can see right here that when STPK eventually went public and became STEM, we went from a SPAC coming out at $10 a share. We saw heights of north of $50 a share and all the way down below $10 a share. So this is definitely still a stock to watch because there has been a lot of progress that the company has made in the 2 years since STPK announced that they were going to be going public with the STEM merger. So the question is there any recent news that is causing this? And you can continue to see that we don't really have anything specific that would point to negative price action. However, there is another company that is all over the news right now in the form of Tesla, which over the past few days has been getting obliterated. So you can see that the stock over the past 3 years from the highs is down 69%. And what we're looking at is to get back to their pre-COVID levels. So that's 2020. If we go to the 5-year, to get to the pre-COVID levels, which would be in 2020, about February, you can see the stock was in the $55 to $62 range. That is still a further nearly 50% drop from current levels to put it in line with those evaluations or price action. So if we're making that comparison to STEM, I mean STEM, if it continues to follow the clean energy sector, we could continue to see additional volatility. That being said, overall, my macro opinion on the stock has not changed. They continue to grow incredibly well. If you look at the evaluation or the valuation associated with STEM on TD Ameritrade's website, which is what I'm using, you can see from a price to sales ratio, they continue to be below the industry average. The reason why I call out price to sales is because this is what a non-profitable company is generally going to be measured off of, and they do have clear line of sight to profitability. So if I look at their profitability, you can see from a gross profit margin on a trailing 12-month basis that they continue to be in the positive range. However, the net profit margin continues to be low. Now, some of these metrics are skewed a little bit by some of the warranty volumes that we've seen historically, but we also have a number of videos on the channel that show the earnings presentations, and they show those both gross and net profit margins. And they do continue to showcase that next year, 2023, we're less than a week out, the second half of the year they expect to be profitable on a quarterly basis. So there is a clear line of sight to profitability, and that comes on the back of impressive growth rates. So you can see on a trailing 12-month basis that they're growing nearly 300%. And I expect that to continue to be the case for the immediate future. Obviously, that is going to scale down as they continue to scale up. They do have the entirety of 2023 covered by way of signed contracts. They just need to deliver on that expectation for 2023. So that being said, I think that from an overall market perspective, as I've continued to say on a stock by stock basis, I think we're going to continue to see some pain points. However, I do see a lot of forward-looking potential associated with STEM. That being said, at no point in time in the immediate future do I plan on taking on a boatload of cash to go and purchase additional shares, but this just goes to showcase that over the next 3 to 5 years, I think that continuing to dollar cost average, which is what I'm going to do, will provide useful results in the future. That being said, I am by no means a financial advisor. I'm just someone who's been evaluating and tracking the stock, and I wanted to provide a comment on recent price movements. So if you have any questions, please drop a comment down below, let me know, or if you have something more in depth, we can talk about it in the Discord, which is free to join, also in the description. So if you made it this far, appreciate you watching, and we'll chat soon. Thanks. Bye.